Okay, there's a couple more things we need to do before it's going to be ready for the laser cutter. I removed this symbol off of here, and this is just a kind of a basic example. Yours should be much more detailed than mine. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to, you can either highlight everything like that to make sure you have everything, or you can hit Control A, and Control A will highlight everything as well. And what we want to do here is we want to cut out certain pieces before other pieces. And what I mean by that is all of these little holes right here, we want them to cut out before we cut out this edge part. Because if we cut this edge part out first, it'll drop down. And then these will, when the laser's cutting these, they're not going to be on a flat surface, so it's not going to be that great. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just highlight everything at the same time. And we're going to go up to the top here, and we're going to set it at decimal 001. And then we're going to set it all at red to cut. So everything's going to be cut at this point. You can see everything's getting cut. Now, that's fine for these. We want these to be cut. We want this to be cut. But we want all these outside pieces to be cut last. And actually, we don't want these to be cut at all. We want these to, we'll actually engrave, these will be engraved in. So what we're going to do is, if you look on the right-hand side of your panel right here, you'll notice there is a little panel, some icons on it. If you don't have this panel here, you click on Window, and you click on this Layers right here. Now, your Layers is this little icon right here. If you click that, I'll just collapse it. It shows your whole piece of work. And if you click this little down arrow, it shows you actually all your individual pieces. Like if I click on this blue part here, this little blue square, it'll actually show me this bird. And then what I can do, I can highlight that bird, highlight this bird, either of them, and then I can change them. So actually, I'm going to change them both to black because I'm going to engrave those. So there we go. I'm going to change that one to black, and I'm just going to change the point up to 1. So it's a bit easier to see. There we go. That's bird 1 done. And now let's go down here, find that other bird. So there's the other bird. I'm going to click on that. Same thing. I'll click on here, turn it black, and change this to 1 so it's a bit easier to see. Okay, so those two will be engraved in. Now I need the rest of this outside of the box to be a different color. Now to hopefully make this a little easier to understand, I think it was here. Yeah, so this is the manual. If you look, I'm going to zoom in a little closer here. The first thing it will do is engrave. So those two birds will be engraved in first. Secondly, it will cut. So I want it to cut all those little polygon shapes out. Then thirdly, this blue color right here, I'll set that to cut as well. And you just click on this little down arrow here and set it to cut. So that's be the last thing I'll do is cut out all the pieces. So we need to change those outside colors to blue, true blue. So to do that, I'm just going to click on my little layer button here, and I'm going to just make sure all my layers. I'm going to go way to the bottom of my layer panel, and you'll see actually right here, I know it's hard to see, but this is the first thing you brought in. And this is all of your pieces right here. So if I highlight this, it'll highlight all of those pieces, which is what I want. It doesn't highlight these top pieces because we added those in. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on, oops, I did not do that correctly. So I'm going to back up and do that again. So I'm going to click on this one here. So it highlights all those pieces. I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard and make sure I click that one, click this one, and I'm going to zoom up. Or scroll up, and I'm going to click that one. Now all my pieces have been clicked. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little red stroke button right here, or double click it. And we want to change this to blue. So after we go right down to the bottom here, and you can see red is FF and 4 zeros. Blue is the opposite. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, FF. And if you hit enter on that, it will change it to true blue. And there it is. So this will cut perfectly now. We might be doing this a little differently in class, but this is kind of the basic idea, and we'll go over this in a little bit more detail as we get into it. Anyway, that is a better setup because it will etch the birds first, it will cut that piece out, it will cut all these pieces out, and the last thing it will do is cut all of these pieces out and everything will drop. Okay, hopefully this has been helpful and you're ready to cut.